What are some of the things that you say to yourself on a daily basis? Are you somebody who constantly builds yourself up? Somebody who says to yourself, this might be challenging, this might be something that I've never done before. However, I know that I'll succeed because I've overcome challenges in the past. Or are you maybe somebody who succumbs to more negative self-talk? Maybe saying things to yourself such as, I just don't think I'm worth it. I didn't get the promotion because it's just not what I was meant to do. My family always struggled, therefore I must struggle. Who am I kidding? I'm just not cut out for this. Negative self-talk is something that we must eliminate from our life immediately. And there's a difference between constructive criticism of yourself and negative self-talk. Because negative self-talk causes you to feel bad. And when you feel bad, you take negative actions. And after a month, after a year, all those negative actions snowball into a larger negative outcome. And we just can't let that happen, right? So today, we're going to talk about how to eliminate negative self-talk from your life with one simple tip that will help you to change the game and feel good whenever you want to. So let's get right to it. I'm Brandon Eastman with BeBetterIndustries.com, and on this YouTube channel, we talk about mindset, peak performance, and achievement. Achievement towards your goals and achievement towards who you want to become. So if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below and be sure to hit the bell. That way you're notified of all new videos that we release every single Monday. And hey, why not help us out at the same time? Hit the like button here. That way this video is shown to more people who could use the same kind of help when it comes to negative self-talk. Self-talk can either help us or it can hinder us. As an example, if you tell yourself, I need to go to the gym, this is something that I need to do because my goal is to weigh a certain amount of weight, and you build yourself up and you tell yourself that you can do it because you've done other things like it in the past, or you've done that very same thing in the past, then self-talk can help motivate you towards your outcome. However, self-talk can also bring you further away from where you want to go. Because let's say you have a goal to achieve something, or let's say you've got a party you want to go to, or you're going into a conversation or a group of people that you have to present something to, and you get inside of your head and you think to yourself, why am I the person giving this talk? I'm 20 years old, I don't have more experience than some of the other people in this room. Why was I the person chosen? I'm probably going to be judged. I might even crash and burn. What am I going to do? Now let me ask you, what kind of feelings will that second form of self-talk invoke in your body? It's going to invoke anxiety, it's going to invoke fear, it's going to make you think that you won't succeed, and because of that, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Negative self-talk can severely hold us back because we generally begin to believe what we tell ourselves. Now, in terms of communication, I believe there's only two types of communication. The first type is a cry for help, which is what negative self-talk is. And the second kind is a loving response. We must give ourselves loving responses. We must build ourselves up. And you're probably thinking, Brandon, this is all good and great. However, I've been thinking this way for so long. How could it be so simple to eliminate this negative self-talk from my life? Well, I have a simple trick that will 100% help you if you apply it in your life right now. Because I used to deal with negative self-talk myself, and let's face it, we're all human. We all say things to ourselves that aren't the most positive at times. We can all be critical of ourselves at times. So when that time comes, it's important to have the right strategy in place. That way, you can interrupt that pattern and tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself what you really know will happen. Because you've overcome challenges before. You've done a lot of things in your life where at first you didn't think it could be done, but you've overcome it anyway. It could be something as simple as a video game. I like to think of life as a game in itself. And when it comes to video games, you might have even had a boss encounter that you struggled and you tried and tried and tried, and eventually you did it. even when you think you couldn't. Maybe you had a goal in the past to weigh a certain amount and you didn't think it'd be possible, but you looked up strategies and you found people who could help you with it, and eventually you did it. There's been a lot of things in your life where you've impressed even yourself at what you were capable of. So the number one thing that we have to do whenever we notice that we're giving ourselves any kind of negative self-talk is be aware of it. We need to know when we're giving ourselves communication that's not helping us towards our goal. We'll know that because after we tell ourselves something, we're not going to feel too good. We get that feeling of anxiety or fear when we start telling ourselves things like, this is never going to work out for me. Why am I the person to go to this big event or this big meeting? I'm just not going to be able to succeed. Who am I kidding? Why would I be able to do that? That's negative self-talk. And the first step is to become aware of it. Because the moment you recognize that you're talking to yourself in that negative way, you can immediately interrupt that pattern. Because there's something called a pattern interrupt. You see, as people, 90% or more of our thoughts are the same thoughts that we think every single day. We constantly operate in terms of patterns. And if we can interrupt that pattern, we can choose to enter into that pattern whatever form of thoughts that we want to. Because the way that we think is our decision. And we can choose to think thoughts that serve us. We can choose to create new patterns that lead us down a better path in life. So your first step is to observe and be aware when you're giving yourself that negative self-talk. And the second step is to simply interrupt that pattern once you become aware. And check it out, the more you do this, the better you get. The more you interrupt that negative self-talk, the better you get at replacing it with something that will build you up, with something that will cause you to feel better, and as a result, take better actions, leading you to a better life. So let me tell you what works for me. Whenever I have thoughts such as, I really just don't want to go to the gym, I'm not going to get immediate results anyway, why do I really want to do this? My brain immediately picks up now that I'm having negative self-talk. I immediately realize I'm making excuses and I'm telling myself things that aren't going to help me. And immediately after I think that thought, I think to myself, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know the result that it will bring. I just created a new pattern. And because of that, I get my gym clothes on and I go to the gym. Whenever there's a bad meal in front of me, something that I know I shouldn't be eating, or if I'm at a restaurant looking at a menu, if I say to myself, you know what, I'm just gonna get one bad meal this one time because I only do it about once or twice a week, so what's the harm in doing it a third time? Immediately, I'll say to myself, but you know what? I'm going to order this because I know that this will bring me closer to my goal. Essentially, think of a pattern interrupt as this. It's an add-on to the end of a sentence that ends in negative self-talk. Okay? So, negative self-talk, pattern interrupt, positive self-talk. Something that will actually help you move in the direction that you want. Another example is I personally used to be somebody who, whenever I made a mistake in front of people, I would say something like, I'm such an idiot. Whether you realize it or not, saying something such as I am, insert adjective here, when you say something like I am an idiot, after you say that 100 times, what do you think begins to happen? Your brain begins to believe it. We believe what we tell ourselves most of the time. We are what we tell ourselves most of the time. We are what we think about most of the time. However, I used to say to myself, I'm such an idiot. But what I learned to do, and this is what helped me eliminate that sentence, because I don't say that anymore. I stopped saying that about 2 years ago, is after I used to say, I'm such an idiot, I used to immediately recognize it. And right after I said it, I would say, I'm such an idiot, until now. Until this moment, where now I'm an achiever. Now I will achieve this and overcome the challenge. Now I will succeed. And immediately it would change how I felt. And after 2 to 3 times of doing that, it doesn't take much. Sometimes it can happen after the first time you say it, and then you realize how ridiculous it was. But after I did that 2 to 3 times, whenever I started to say I'm such a I immediately replaced it with something that was more self-serving. Whenever you say to yourself something like, ugh, I just can't do this, immediately interrupt that pattern and end the sentence with, until now. I couldn't do this until this moment in time, where now I'll be able to press forth and get it done. Another way that is sure to interrupt any kind of negative self-talk or any kind of negative communication pattern is after you say something that is negative to yourself, immediately say the word stop. If you say something like, I can't do it, I just don't deserve this, immediately be aware of it, number one, and then say, stop. You can say it out loud, you could say it in your head, whatever causes you to interrupt that train of thought. Because after you say stop, you'll immediately allow yourself to replace that negative self-talk with something that is empowering. Think about when you see a stop sign on the road. Our brain has conditioned ourselves to when we see stop, we immediately stop all patterns of communication. It happens on the roads, it happens when people say to you in conversation, stop. It causes everybody to stop. And the same thing happens when you tell it to yourself. It's a very powerful way to stop whatever train of thought you're currently in so that you can think about something that will cause you to feel better, something that will cause you to take action. Just because you weren't able to do something at one point, just because you haven't succeeded in the past, doesn't mean that you can't succeed now. Check this out. The beautiful thing about the past is it's over. You, as you watch this video right now, in this moment in time, you are a completely new person who can make new decisions that move you closer to really where you want to go. And what is it that we're going after anyway? Goals are great. Achieving things is great. Talking to ourselves and building ourselves up is great, but what does all that lead to? It leads us to a feeling. It leads us to feel good. And our objective is to feel good most of the time. And the more you talk to yourself positively, the more you communicate to yourself in a way that brings you closer to your goals, the more happy you feel most of the time. And that's what it's all about, is feeling good. So again, be aware of your negative self-talk. Immediately interrupt that pattern and replace it with something that's going to be positive for you. And I promise you, it will help lead you down a better path in your life, and it will cause you to be happier more of the time. Again, I'm Brandon Eastman with Be Better Industries. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button here if you're new to this channel, and hit the bell. Now, in the description below, you're going to see a link to my book called Be Extraordinary, Your Guide to Self-Mastery. When you click that link, it's going to ask you for your email address. I want to send you a free copy of my ebook, because inside the ebook, there are strategies and tips that can help you to improve your life, that will help you to make progress towards your goals. And in the first chapter, Emotional Mastery, I talk a bit more about self-talk and how you can use it to benefit your life. So go ahead, hit the link below, enter your email address. I'll send you a copy of that book, and hit the like button here. That way you support me, you support the channel, which we appreciate so much. And it sends this video to more people who could benefit from this advice. So here is to you giving yourself more positive self-talk most of the time. And until we speak again, continue to be better.